Hi, Barbara Vay, and I'm here today with Leanna Renee Hieber, who is one of my favorite people, because we go back way before she was published, so it's a special connection. I met her and her mother together, and your mother's absolutely delightful.
She's great.
But you have had an interesting job before you started writing.
Yeah, I've had every different kind of job you could possibly imagine. When you go, when you graduate from college as a theater major, you know that you're going to have a bunch of different side jobs while you try and pursue professional theater, which I did. I was doing, pretty consistently for a decade, but it also meant that I had some interesting side jobs, whether it was being in a Pillsbury Doughboy suit for a day, whether it was, being a Starbucks barista or a paralegal, or it was being a tour guide for New York City. So
now that's the one I like.
It was great. The great thing about being a New York City tour guide is you learn a lot about the city. I had moved here, and I'm a huge history fan, so I love learning about New York history, and that ends up playing into some of my future books, which is great. But so yeah, I was on all the red double-decker buses for a while, and that's met my boyfriend there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was on passing buses. We would
oh, really?
Our buses would pass, and we would get people on our bus to sing love songs to the other bus. It was really great. It's there's probably a book in that somewhere.
I was going to say that.
I know, but
sounds like
I don't know, but I write historicals, so it's a little hard to.
Well, you could
maybe I could do it
on friends.
I guess horse car trolleys. We could do it that way.
I tell you, you are always thinking. and if you look at this woman, it's obvious that she's got a different kind of bent to her. She's got the most amazing jewelry on. We've got a raven here. So what, you're an Edgar Allan Poe fan?
Are you kidding me?
Nevermore.
Everything I know about life I learned from Edgar Allan Poe. So that kind of tells you about what kind of fiction I write. I fell in love with Poe when I was about 9 or 10 years old, and just the world made sense to me after that. The language of Edgar Allan Poe and the spooky romance of it really kind of ended up setting my artistic course. I was always writing. I mean, even though I was a theater major and even though I pursued that as my first career, I was always writing in the background, always secretly working on a novel here or there, always something gothic and historical, because it's always been my thing. So I'm really kind of just living all of my dreams that I've had since childhood. And so I feel like, even though I've had interesting different career paths, everything has built to something that I feel is so authentic to me and is really kind of my dreams coming true. And I kind of dress this way in real life anyway. It's just a little more heightened.
She does.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. So
but it's a great look for you.
Thank you.
It is a great
thank you. I mean, I'm all about being your authentic self in anything, in any kind of art. If you can be, I think the best kind of art is when the art, that stuff that really resonates with you, the artist. And so this is all very authentic to me. So.
There you go. And let's talk about your Strangely Beautiful series for a while, because that was just such a wonderful series, and now you've got some good news about that.
Yeah, so the latest in the Strangely Beautiful series just came out in May, The Perilous Prophecy of Garden Goddess, which is a prequel. And so long before The Strangely Beautiful Tale of Miss Percy Parker, there was The Perilous Prophecy of Garden Goddess. And interesting things about life coming back around full circle is that the first book, The Strangely Beautiful Tale of Miss Percy Parker, has been optioned for a Broadway musical. Now we have wonderful talent on board, and Kenny Seymour, the musical director of Memphis, which won a bunch of Tonys last year, he's doing beautiful, beautiful, beautiful music for it. We have just an amazing team all put together. I'm blown away to be a part of it. It's all my agent. Nicholas Roman Lewis has been amazing about putting this together, bringing it forward to a really fabulous team, championing me as an author and also as a scriptwriter, as I'm actually working on the script of the musical, which is called The Book of the Musical, which is confusing if you also write books. But yes, so I'm writing the book of the musical, and it's going well so far. We have a draft of the whole show completed currently. It's in draft form, so it's still in the early stages of development. We've had a little bit of outside feedback on it, trying to incorporate some of those elements and some of the feedback that we've had. Some really beautiful music has been composed, and our goal is in the fall to have a draft of the show that's complete enough to start submitting into new play festivals. So the next step would be, we have a draft of the show, we submit it to various regional theaters that might want to put it up and kind of get it on its feet, work some of the rough spots out, try and get it to be a cohesive show, and then at some point, hopefully from that point, we can move it hopefully here to New York. So there's a million steps between here and there, but we're on our way. So we're very excited about it.
What an exciting process to be in.
Yes, it's amazing. It's such a gift. I mean, my first novel when I was 12 years old, I started writing my first book, and it was a sequel to Phantom of the Opera, because I was obsessed with the Broadway show. And so it's kind of fitting that here I am also working with a Gothic thing that's my own this time, and it's going into a Broadway show. I mean, I think that because I write fairly dramatically, it translates actually quite well. I write Gothic novels, and Gothic novels are all about drama with a capital D, and so I think it really does, it really does translate, you know, pretty perfectly. I bring a lot of theater training into my writing. I actually teach workshops about that. How can you bring some theatrical elements into what it is that you're doing, and how can you think about novel writing from different theatrical perspectives, because I think that's a way to think about your writing in a fresh way. A lot of writers think about it in, you know, just terms of what you might have learned in your creative writing classes, and I'm coming at it from distinctly a theatrical perspective. So it's fun to have all of my worlds kind of come back in one.
Well, that's something really for us to look forward to, because, to say, one of our own is on Broadway, that's so exciting.
It's so funny, when my agent first said, "You've sold the musical theater option rights," I thought, I know what you mean by that, but I mean, after sort of laughing because I thought he was joking, really, that happens? We do that? But if you think about it, so many really popular musicals have been books. Wicked's a book, Les Mis and Phantom of the Opera, and so many classic tales have been turned into musicals. So, I'll add mine to the pile.
But this is a romance. I mean, really, when have you seen a romance do that? I don't know.
I mean, all great musicals have a romance in them anyway, so it seems like, it can translate. But the cool thing about, when you're writing historical fantasy is that there's, this wonderful historical aspect to it, and also this fantastical stuff. So we can do really, really cool things with the ghosts on stage. We have all kinds of interesting plans about holograms.
I can't wait.
It's gonna.
I can't wait.
Yep.
I can't wait. But let's talk about your current book.
Yes.
So what's your current project
So
here?
right now we are gearing up for Darker Still, which I'm very excited about. Now, the Darker Still is the first in the Magic Most Foul series, and this is a new young adult series from Sourcebooks Fire. Fire is their young adult imprint, and this is 1880 New York City. So I get to pull on all of my tour guide training.
Riding that double-decker bus
helps. It comes back. It does. No time. Nothing's ever wasted in life. And so I'm pulling on some really amazing New York history and throwing a paranormal bent into it. I've always wanted to write a haunted painting story. I was obsessed with The Picture of Dorian Gray for a very, very long time. One of my very favorite novels. And so this is my haunted painting book. So I'm very, very excited.
But it's still a romance, right? It's going to have a happy ending?
Absolutely.
Thank you, because I really need that.
Absolutely. No, don't you worry. I will never forget. I'm just shifting into YA, but very much the same voice, very much the same style, still Victorian paranormal, still Victorian fantastical, and with a Gothic flair. I mean, that's what I am, that's what I do.
I can see the kids loving this. So.
Oh, I think so. I mean, I want to make history accessible and exciting, and a historical perspective and rich language. I want to make that exciting for all my readership. And the Strange and Beautiful series has young adult crossover appeal already, and so I feel like this is just a natural progression for me to have something on both shelves that will appeal to all romance fans, definitely, because I have it's the haunted painting is a hot painting, and there's a hot man in the painting, and he's a trapped soul, and so my heroine has to rescue him and get him out of the painting. So.
Well, and we all love the strong woman, so that is great.
Yeah,
so we all appreciate everything you've done for us.
Thank you. Well, I appreciated that. I appreciate being here.
Well, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
And we'll be seeing you soon. Thanks.